Hi guys, welcome to earnings season. I'm Randy Rowe at RT Rowe.
And I'm Danai at H.ja.
And this is this week's earnings season. So, Danai, you're just saying something a while ago.
Oh yeah, earnings season going on right now.
Yes.
Other companies are posting their
Q1
results.
2020 earnings season.
Yep.
So we're looking at some companies, and you said something just came out.
Yeah, so SEP.ja came out with its results. It was the Q4 results at the end of year, and at first glance, the profit line looked heavy.
Yeah.
Look at them, a lot of money that year.
Shock.
Profit heavy, man.
Shocking.
Yeah, because they were taking some hits up to Q3. So this turnaround must have happened in the Q4.
Sorry, I'm looking on Jesse's website for it, and I'm not seeing it.
Page 5 in latest news. Page 5 in latest news.
Oh, I thought you meant like it just came out.
Oh no, bro, we discussed it already, man.
We've discussed it on this already?
No, man, separately.
Okay. Yeah,
Don't you own separate and
the conversations run together. That's the next thing I want to check. I wanted to see it first and then go check the money. I don't know if I own any actually.
I saw you post. I think they buy slip, man.
Yes.
I bought
yes.
The same place I was printing it and work mashed me up and I never got to buy any because I knew it was going back up.
I bought more since, but I think I've also sold some since. There were opportunities along the year to sell. Separate. I did post that. That's called a contract note, which everybody should get from their broker once you do a trade. Yes, it should state. There's certain information that must be stated in it. And obviously included in that is the actual price that you pay, the amount of shares you get, and what company you got it in. And of course, because I track all of my gains in the dashboard, I use it. So I also have them saved so I can go back. I hate how much, I didn't realize how much personal information is on it until I had to start redacting it. Bro. Yeah, it's annoying.
Well, annoying. Results are out. Profit way up. Revenue up.
Profit way up. Let us be proper with that.
Say what
results came out on February 17th.
And the profit number is what percentage? What percentage of the last year?
Q4.
So 749. Yeah, it's almost 10x.
God damn.
Divided by almost 10x 749.
Damn. And they haven't gotten rid of the sugar operations yet.
So I forgot to check that actually. So how much sugar operations still on the books? What last did they book for sugar operations in the fourth quarter? Scroll up. Check the thing there. Check them.
So they have on the discontinued operations here. They've got 4 cents as an EPS. So that's probably the sugar right there. So they're showing that they without it. I like that they're playing. Big up Richard Pandoy.
What?
In terms of what the sugar represents to the company, it's literally like a dividend amount, like $1 dividend per share. You know how to And who does that pressure? That pressure is the government actually, right? Did they get what they wanted?
Don't know.
What they wanted was the ability to, I don't get it wrong, is it that tax? The ability to do the tax credits.
Yeah, man. So
to utilize tax credits. I should follow up to see if that was done. Or maybe some enterprising.
But interesting enough, I wondered about that because of this. So look on this. The tax line itself, they booked a huge tax credit.
Meaning they have.
So you look at the thing there. You look at the profit. Look at the PBT, profit before tax, and you realize it's not much more than the profit before tax last year. And then they booked a big tax credit.
I mean, credit where credit is due. Separate is big. To move separate from what's that 292.3 million to a year later 344.1 million.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's big. That's a 17% move.
Yeah, what I'm laughing at is the 830 million profit after that versus 241.
So they utilize some tax credits.
Heavy tax credits.
Heavily. Almost $500 million.
Yeah.
In tax credit. Where do you think it come from?
That's I wonder if it's thing there, if it's sugar tax.
They tell us. Interim report to the stockholders. Revenues of blah, blah, blah. 34.3 bill. Increase of 11.8. 53% over last year. So they put FACE underneath themselves. So this is a FACE number. 17% increase in profit on FACE. That's not bad. As
7% increase on
meaning this quarter have a 17.7% increase in profit. 344 million versus 292 million. So
no. Operating profit before tax.
Yeah, the exact same number we're just looking at.
Yeah.
Profit before tax. Yeah. Well, I'm not going past that yet. Because we're talking about before any tax credits are used. So I'm saying that they put FACE underneath them. And remember our conversation, I think 2 years ago, we were wondering what was the true profit effect of FACE. What would it be? It might not be that great.
No, we thought it would be.
Because they shared a lot of business already and already kind of banked on it, but they pull themselves on it. But if we attribute a 17%.
I think they've been running it all this year. In the MD&A for all this year, they've been mentioning FACE. Yeah,
because the revenue was going up. But we knew revenue would fly. The idea was what would the profit be. Was, yeah. And I don't know, I haven't examined the profit to see exactly what it is yet. But 2019, they executed on the closing of the sugar factory. It's not done yet, but it's going to positively impact the group's return on equity and its cash flow. Maybe it's done. Maybe, I don't know. The wording here is ambiguous, right? That's the important thing to know when you have ambiguous wording. Management executed on its previously communicated decision to close the sugar factory and in doing so curtail the 10 years of operational losses from sugar manufacturing. I don't know if it's actually done, but what they are saying is that this move will positively impact the group's return on equity and its cash flows in the future. In other words, they will be cutting out any losses that they may have coming from it or any costs, so they'll be making more cash. They'll be keeping more cash on hand.
Yeah, they'll be more profitable after this. Well, when the sugar losses are removed, yes, profitability will be better. But yeah, I think the tax credit really said a lot.
What do you think it says? But what do you think it says? All right.
Not that it said a lot. It's just that it really changes how you look at the profit. If I get what I'm saying. So when you cash in on thing there, so if I cash in on tax credits, right? And say I have, because tax credits are generally used to write off, what do you call it again? Write off taxes. So it's not that
corporate tax.
Corporate tax. So it's not that you get a claim, you get a redemption on your taxes. It's just that any loss you have at any given time, you can claim against it.
Yes, correct.
I
think there's a limit to how much of a credit you can take in any given year.
Yeah, man. But some credits you have to claim them all at once. So some credits in the case of separate, say generally you're not going to go more. The tax credits, when you find tax credits going over to the point where the company is now in more profit for the tax credit claim than they are. Sorry, I'm trying to find a way to explain this. Say I have tax credits, right? I have $15. I have $30 profit before tax, and I have profit of tax of $15, right? It would make sense for me to claim only $15 of tax credits, right?
Yes.
But tax credits don't really work like that sometimes. Some of them have to claim all at once. So you end up with, so you end up with, say you have $400 in thing there in tax credits. You make $30 profit before tax and $15 is tax. Well, yeah, these tax credits you have to claim them all at once. So you end up with $430 in profit.
Okay. So because you get to put it as against.
It's to look like a positive. But the thing with tax credits, it's claiming tax credits more than the profit, more than the tax itself. There's actually zero value transfer to the company for that.
Cash value.
Value in general. Think about it.
I get it. Because there's no extra
you don't money.
Exactly. But technically, you do give yourself an uplift in your retained earnings, which you can later cash out on when you have actual cash on hand.
No.
Yes, because your profit goes up.
Yeah.
Your net profit goes up as a result.
Retained earnings isn't cash. Retained earnings is
value. But I'm saying it increases that value, which at a future date, you can encash that as a dividend or a capital return.
So, all right, suppose you get this dividend of the $400 of tax.
Not no.
I know, continue. Because the dividend comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
So in my retained earnings, $200 of not real tax, not real money went there.
Yeah. And when the time comes, when I have cash on hand, I'm able to cash out that $200 of retained earnings as real money to me.
Cash, huh?
All right, suppose the very first year of the business's operation,
Cool,
right?
cool.
And you bought a tax credit from somebody, 100 tax credit, and your tax is actually 50. You have to use the whole tax credit, so you have an extra 50 left in retained earnings, even though you made a loss. Even though you made a loss, you have an extra 15 retained earnings.
But you actually only got $50 cash because you didn't pay $50 of tax. Cool.
Wait, I wasn't even thinking of that. Great. So you actually have $50 cash on hand.
And $50 not returned. And
$50 in retained earnings, even though you actually
so you have $100 in retained earnings, yeah.
No, you'd have $100.
Of course, retained earnings is just an earning number that goes.
No, you would have $100 in retained earnings.
You want a bit?
Your operating loss for the year is 50. You have a tax credit of 100, and you have to use the whole 100. So you make a profit of
50.
There we go. So you don't have 100 in profit. You don't have 100 in retained earnings. You have 50 in retained earnings. It's the very first year of operation. So at the end of the
stop. I get it. Is it tax $50? Yeah, operating profit is 50. What's their tax?
That's what you're saying.
Tax is just money you send off. It's not money.
Hold on. No.
Profit before tax
your
is
tax,
the money you have.
Your tax is $50.
And your operating profit is what?
Whatever percentage would allow the $50 to be the amount of actual cash that you have. My point here is this, right?
No. You're on my whole point.
Okay.
If my operating profit before tax is $200.
We'll do it that way. Your operating profit is $200.
Or your tax of 50. $100.
Yeah, let's do the $100 in profit.
$100 profit.
$100 in operating profit. The government have to get 25%.
Okay.
So $25. I have a $50 tax credit. And you have to use it all the same time.
So my profit is what?
$100. No.
It's 125.
Your operating profit is 100. So your net profit is 75. And you use your $50 tax credit, 125. Cool. So you have 125 now. And in that 125 is 50 of the tax credit, right? Correct?
And how much cash you have?
No, it unimportant for what I was saying. 125 is your profit for the year, and that includes 50 that was an uplift from the tax credit. The next year, in the first quarter, you do something great. You get $125 as a bigger cash payment than you were expecting because you land a big contract, right? First quarter next year, and it's all cash. And at that point, your retained earnings is 125 plus whatever the first quarter was.
So what was my profit?
No, I don't finish. It don't matter. Your profit could be $1.
So is cash where it's come from? The 125.
We got a contract, and it's really a 5,000 contract, and then pay us 125 as a cash bonus early. So we have 125
That's
cash.
not about income.
Huh?
We
have 125 cash on hand, more than we expected. And at that point also, our retained earnings is 125 because that's all of last year, plus whatever the cash from this first quarter is, right? But
so
whatever the profit for this quarter,
cash.
Yeah, whatever. Remember, we agreed that last year, the $50, the 125 was our retained earnings, and it included the difference of the tax credit, right? If at the end of the first quarter I choose to pay out a dividend of 125, I am able to do that.
What was stopping you before that?
What was stopping me before that? I'm not saying anything was stopping me, but in that 125 is the tax credit. So I'm saying it is a real thing.
No.
Yes. The second something, the limit to a dividend is retained earnings,
Not really.
right?
It's cash.
Yeah, in real life, the limit is cash. But let's say you have unlimited cash. The legal limit to a dividend.
There's no legal limit to a dividend.
There is.
I promise you there isn't. You can take any money out of a company.
Really?
You own a company account and you're in loss, but you have cash there.
You can't pay a dividend if it's in loss.
Why?
You have to call it something else.
That's what you mean.
Yeah, dividends have to be
It's
paid
not
from
different. What is it?
capital distribution, capital gains distribution.
Not capital gains. Those
Yes,
capital distribution. Those money account.
No, capital distribution cut the law.
It's capital
distribution and not capital gains. Sorry, you're right.
Capital
Capital distribution and
it's capital. Yeah.
like when you equity return to the shareholder.
Yeah. So it's not a dividend.
No. Because dividends have to be paid
it's funny
from,
because we had this
from
conversation
profit.
about we were trying to figure out what exactly was the difference between capital distribution and dividends.
Yeah, I'm also
So
sure that I have it wrong and somebody's going, no, right now. And
I mean,
feel free to
I
tell me.
really need a good accountant. So
Yeah.
if you hear this,
Yeah, if you know tax law and we just said a whole heap of
shove me
rubbish.
the head up and come. We need to talk to you.
Yeah, please correct us. We're open to that. I'd actually love to hear. I'd like to finalize that because for a long time I've wanted it, and of course the big thing
this
is
this sounds like a good one still. If there's a legal line to
Yeah.
down here.
because as far as I know, you have to have had profit in order to pay a dividend. You can't.
Yeah, so I don't know where the legal, but I don't know what a dividend is in law.
Okay.
I don't know if it's in real life accounts or whatever. So if
But
there's
the two, those aren't different. Those are the same, yeah.
oh yeah,
Because
man,
the
definitely. So
accountants that wrote that
if
down.
there's a difference between capital distribution and dividend, then what I thought of was dividends completely isn't actual dividends.
And I know in some
It's a subset of that.
jurisdictions, in some jurisdictions, the difference between a capital distribution and a dividend matters in some jurisdictions. And there have been court cases about it.
You remember the thing there? The course.
Well, sorry, I just want to say it again to the people listening know that we're not 100% on this. Feel free to update us if you actually
definitely.
know. Yeah. And I'm thinking that this links right back to MPC because they paid a dividend, and the big deal was how could they pay a dividend at the time when they didn't yet have profits to pay it from, and you're not, and the cap on your dividend is previous profits, aka retained earnings. So it is the only case, and I don't have a final answer for it yet. So
who had that issue?
it's not supposed to be happening. That's why that was one of the reasons why there was a big deal around
By
MPC.
who?
The usual talk online. I think.
Yeah,
Even, I could be wrong, but I think John Jackson said something on IC Insider.
Oh, I have to check that. But
Yeah.
I discarded the talk online as do they really know accounts?
Yeah, well, accountants, I'm sure.
I don't
headphones
find much
correcting us.
accountants talking online like that. I really wish it was. I really want.
Oh, talking online. No, I find that they don't say anything, but
They
a
don't
lot
say
of them
anything,
DM me. A lot of accountants DM me.
Yeah, I think the name again. I learned that a lot of people that expect to know accounting, they don't know it really well. So I want to hear the voice of accountants more often because trust
Why
me.
don't you have them on the show,
Oh.
sir?
Since you guys are DMing Randy, you know what to do.
Oh God.
That's
Man, just fling me right under the bus there.
I don't find them. You said them DMing this, so guess what?
Wow,
You just got to work, bro. Good job.
Sure. I'd actually like to have a couple of proper accountants on the show. We can ask a couple of questions. We can ask people to send in them questions that they want to ask accountants.
Yeah.
And we go through some and see what it is that we can ask. And I'm sure you have a bunch. I have a bunch. I've always wanted to get like the proper. The funny thing I find is that a lot of accountants say, and they admit it themselves, not in a bad way, but they say that like accounting to them is almost there's something. It's like there's a line in their mind between the real world and what them see in the books,
yes.
even though them know it's the same thing, right? Yeah, that's why so many of them DM me and them say, "Oh, a lot of what they've learned and a lot of they've seen is like I brought alive what them already know." And all of my friends that are accountants are always down and then next say, "Oh, why the hell you actually know the language of accounting, the language of business, and you not investing?" And a few of them who are auditors always them grab onto that excuse big and fast. Oh, if you're an auditor,
People don't think of accounting as a language, and that is all I think of it as.
That's all it is. It's just the way to express
exactly
what's happening in the business.
Definitely, exactly that.
That's why you have to know it. Everybody says it. There's even as much as I do grow and I make it simple and I simplify it, whatever, I know full well at the end of the day what's at the core of it is me taking complicated accounting concepts and making them real life and showing people it. And I think a lot of people are not used to that. So funny enough to me, a lot of them are accountants. So when them realize what I'm doing is what I'm actually doing, it's a break. And I know that the same thing because I remember I managed receivables for years. And seeing now when I look on a company's receivables line, it means something else to me because I know what it actually means day to day.
I'm laughing because you point out analysis based on receivables line to be more than once. Yes,
because it's something I always look for. Because I know what
you
can do with receivables, and I know how it affects the cash flow very, very importantly, and the profit. Right, it's a key thing. That's why I always go back to profit. I just like the fact that a lot of people now are seeing it as a real thing. And if you know we're talking rubbish, feel free to come on. Definitely. I have one brethren who is I believe he's a certified accountant. I'm sorry if I have it wrong. His name is Yeah, on Twitter at Smithy Royal.
Oh, I was going on.
He says he's been a Chelsea fan his entire life. I know Smithy since 1997, but in 2020 he informed me that he's been a Chelsea fan his entire life. Yeah, big up Smithy. Wagonist in every size. What were we saying before that?
So the course we did for the thing there, the financial health of a business, that course.
Yes, I remember.
He was breaking down what would make you know if somebody paid a dividend by taking debt.
You know that in that example, there were enough retained. None of his examples included them paying out more than retained earnings allowed. It is obviously the trick with it is always that you are able to pay more than current year's profits.
Actually, I don't remember that, but I have to.
I remember because I've always been looking for it. So you can make a loss in a year and still pay a dividend. There's nothing stopping that. But with the exception of that one case, like I say, I have never seen a company pay more in dividends than they have in retained earnings. I remember it's retained earnings that is reduced.
Definitely, yeah.
So if your retained earnings is negative, I believe that will allow you to pay it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Retained earnings is equity. Equity is capital. It is capital distributed. That's the funny part to me.
Yeah. Well, I think the cap is on it if you think realistically. A company could be sinking and the person running the company, or if they're also a director, could make the decision to put the company in more debt, pay that debt out as a dividend, and then let the company sink.
Which we've seen this before.
Not necessarily.
Not on all market.
No.
Not on all market.
Retained earnings is the deliberate cap on that.
Randy. Yeah, but you get what I'm saying?
Well, what I'm saying is that
it's like that's something creative we've seen happen before.
Well, there's nothing. Well, what I just described in my mind, there's something wrong with that. I don't think the law allows for that. And I'm happy for that.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it on thing there. Not that I've seen it on Jamaican market, but we've seen where.
I've never seen that. What I've seen is companies have wholly for retained earnings, but they don't really have any cash on hand, and business bad now. And them have the 10 and 20 years of retained earnings in the back. Somebody come in, fling some cash in there. I mean, that is perfectly legal.
So what I've seen is in there. Record it again. Somebody.
People give me a hard time. What the fact they say what you call it then all the time, you know.
So you go.
That's exactly what I said. So I was like, okay, I mean, that's how we talk. But you already want the man feel bad?
Yeah.
Hear me, man, tell him. Why people always bring your badness to me?
I don't know. That's not you problem still.
Do people? Oh, wow. What are you saying, sir? Finish what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Company. So, like, say a company lost its 4 years. Large retained earnings, probably. They have something they want. They have a huge debt. And so like a payment come through.
Payment from whom?
A payment from a
client?
A client that they used to have, it was in delay.
Okay.
And the debt has been calling.
So their company debt has been called in?
The debt, yeah. But there's no cash in the business.
Oh, so like
the payment
I booked a big invoice last year, but I don't actually get paid for that invoice yet because the people take
and boy, you know the money in your bank account and
so you're in a cash crunch crisis. Okay,
but you get paid. You finally get paid.
I thought okay. So
anyway. So you get a big cash crunch. You get cash payment. So you pay dividends from retained earnings, and then the company, the bank get it and through the assets or whatever.
All right.
I was wondering if you can do that. If you say debtors are calling, you finally get a payment. If you can do a dividend payment instead.
It depends on the terms of your debt. Some
True.
debt.
Some debt. Some
debt locks you into having to pay them first. For example, give me a company like JC that has that, where they're required to pay.
I don't know. You tell me.
I think JMB 7.5.
Oh yeah, preference shares do it often.
Preference shares is a level of debt. A level of debt, a sort of debt.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, and a protective form in that those shares can reconvert into, in the event of mispayments and certain terms, blah blah blah, they can reconvert into regular shares, which is how.
And out of them think they, out of them even just they have preference shares and they have a higher calling, so the debt goes, then the preference shares.
Well, preference shares always have a higher calling.
Higher calling. I think that ranking thing, whether they re-ranking to common shares, it's often a protection for minor share for common shareholders. Say $100,000 supposed to pay out, right? And there's a preference share, guys, and
the company only have 100 shares, 100 ordinary shares.
Yeah, sure. But the preference shares is $100,000.
Exactly, 100,000 preference shares at $1 each.
So if I pay out preference shares first. Then this guy goes with all the $100,000. But if he re-ranks into common shares, then the $100,000 between me and him. So I get something at the end of the day, no matter what.
No, but if he turns those 100,000 shares, preference shares, into regular shares, your company only had 100 shares. He has just diluted you.
No,
So now it's his company and he decides what happens to that money.
Depends.
No.
Because, all right, so
And that's why it's not a protection for, it's not a protection for ordinary shareholders. It's a protection for the preference shareholder.
There could be an agreement prior to that step on how the money will work out.
Well, usually preference shares come with them terms, but that's one term that's usually in there.
Come with that term, right?
And that term is in there. There are preference shares on our market that have that term. I've read that.
The re-rank?
Yeah, meaning not a re-rank, meaning if you miss X amount of payments, these shares, preference shares, convert into regular shares. And when you work out what's the official term? It's not re-rank.
It's not re-rank. No.
They convert into ordinary shares. At which point, usually
I'm saying re-rank because of the level of payment. So
well, once your ordinary shares paripasu, I always mess it up. Pari passu.
So why I'm saying that is sometimes the board can decide on dividend, and because the only whatever.
The second that happened, I kicking the board out, brother. Because you usually have enough preference shares that you have such a heavy weighting that you're
on the board.
Even if you're not on the board.
Definitely, yeah, man. But I'm saying there's a case where me and you get your shares convert into common shares, and you have to share the money with me.
That sounds like a brethren thing. Why would I do that? You're supposed to pay me all in one, and then all of a sudden it water down, and okay, we're gonna split the money. Nah,
depends on the agreement. Suppose at $0, at $0, suppose when the company hits that $0 point, then the conversion happens like that.
I immediately call a board meeting and kick everybody out, and it's my company. That's why there's a protection. Your big up Succession. I love that show. I want you to see though that in that it's. I get what you're saying in that.
I get what explain like in the. It makes sense in a legal standing. To me. And if the legal standing would be the real standing, so I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I do want confirmation on that.
Yeah, sure. It's probably another bit of rubbish that I just tell the people. So if we're wrong and you know we're wrong, feel free to correct me. Maybe we'll bring you on the show and you correct us all. I'd like that. So what company were we just on?
That I was separate, where I was saying
that the tax break
the tax break extraness, the money above the tax point. I was saying it might just be useless. But I
think anything that increases retained earnings.
With your thing, then a higher dividend can be paid. So it would help. It would help
in the future.
Yeah.
And that was the point of that. What a tangent, Jesus! I hope we never lose everybody. How you feel about them now? Looking at their full year, separate. 12 months ended the 31st of December 2019. Their total net profit is 1.18 billion versus last year, meaning 2018 versus 2019, 1.06 billion. No, that's not billion, is it? It is billion, yes. 1.1 billion, 1.18 billion versus 1.06 billion. So they had, what kind of uplift is that?
Barely.
Separate hard to move, brother. I think the real magic here is...
No, I think it's... We know what's the problem. So take all sugar and it's a different story.
All right, so they have here that discontinued operations, which I won't even dig since we don't have time for it. I'll assume that that's sugar. Discontinued operations represent in 2019 98 cents per share in terms of earnings, and that moved them down from $2.72 per share in terms of earnings to $1.74 per share earnings versus last year. It really is barely. I want it to look bigger, but that's the thing with separate. Separate is big.
This is again. This 98. This 98 discounted loss is about $1 per share of loss.
Yes,
and they made $2.72. They lost $1 per share of loss, and only made they lost $1 per share of the profit, and ended up with $1.74. Basically.
Which is
that's a heavy number for them.
That is a heavy number because they're saying without that,
we'd be almost 3.
Yeah, and there would be, what is that in terms of uplift? They would have been, let's say they were at 2.72. If it was all, you want to put it over what?
174.
I was actually going to compare it to last year's post figure.
So you're saying if sugar came out,
completely,
last year, in the
like if it was finished in 2018, correct, 2018, 2019, they would have had like a 31% increase instead of what reality is currently, which is that they're looking at we are looking at a almost 16% drop in profit.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, the ending quarter of the year looks good because, as you said, it's almost 100. It's an order of magnitude higher in terms of net profit.
Oh yeah, so
almost an order of magnitude higher. Yeah.
So
I keep looking at the OCI figure. You think Jamaica gonna start paying attention to OCI? Total comprehensive income anytime soon, versus just net profit.
But the last one on OCI.
Yeah. Which I am going to assume is the. I really should dig into these numbers. You think that's sugar? It can't be sugar because there was cash on it last year. I doubt that's sugar. Yeah. Unless, who knows based on how things are put together now, right? And the group really has a big.
So why from sugar go to OCI?
Also, I don't know what's on the face.
Probably some debt in the thing there.
I don't know what's on the face either. So remember that they've subsumed the face, So you don't know what it was within that group per se.
No, it's that group. There's two face the consumer. They didn't take face the group.
Face the consumer division.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
The
distribution
arm, yeah.
Nestle is also under there.
Yeah.
What was Nestle?
Not Nestle. Is it Nestle? Yeah. No, but they had an agreement with Nestle.
I think Facey took in Nestle and then they took in Facey. There's something.
No. Because they have a thing there. They had an agreement with Nestle for a product. And then eventually they were a thing there. They were just manufacturing it and they were selling it outright.
What do you mean?
This is their operation.
Okay.
So for a while they were selling it. They were selling for them in a way. And they bought it out.
Separate is still coming into their own.
Yes.
Yeah. That's all.
I remember the consolidation of the thing.
I remember in the conversation now that they had around buying it the first time. That was a year or 2 years ago.
Last year they spoke about it all year in every quarter, in every report. Say, hey, we're up on this Nestle thing.
We did that. Our analysis was before Facey sold their shares, and Facey sold their shares October 2018. So
I realized so fast last year went by.
Yes, 2019 feel like a flash. It felt like a flash when we're in it.
Yeah.
God.
I remember how long the Carib cement period felt like. Whoa. And then no, I'm looking, I was like, wait. It really wasn't where they. Like it was the start. It was the start of last year.
I keep thinking last year.
It felt like right. So
2018, yeah.
We're in February now. February soon done. Time fly gone.
Yeah, before you know it is 2021.
Make that money.
Oh, you stay on the 30% for Q1. People need an update. I need to go check mine and see how I'm up.
I need to consolidate portfolio. I have to look at what exactly I am, but yeah.
You don't feel you get the boost for it
yet? So I checked. I'm 10% up on the stocks in one place. I'm not flat on one side. I also need to check across really.
You should use a dashboard for that.
Yeah.
It's flat.
Yeah.
At this point in the year.
At
this point in the quarter.
Yeah. I think they might get screw me. Work, dog.
Work screw you.
Yeah.
2 episodes ago you're big up Mayberry.
No, big up, yeah. But what's going on right now? So work.
Oh wow. So
yeah, work.
Have you flat on the quarter?
Yeah, I've barely been trading. So
we're almost at the end of February. I think I'm flat also.
I made a tweet about putting the portfolio in dashboard. I finally did it. And new perspective. Like the way I was looking at, the way I was feeling about the market. I'm sure I told you about this already. Before I put in the dashboard, I was like, boy, I feel kind of disconnected. I don't really, I feel kind of iffy about portfolio because I really wasn't tracking it like I wanted to, or really looking at my positions certain ways.
You're not doing the things
I drop it in. Yeah, trust me. Work, I kill me. So I drop it into the dashboard and then I was like, oh, I'm good.
You're good, as in what you like.
Based on what I had, I was like, oh, yo, discredit whatever, whenever, you know. And so I was like, that cool.
Yeah, what you going to try and make it? Because now we're near the end of.
Mm-hmm.
We have 1 month technically.
Yeah.
Something they don't list yet when we're recording this.
Transjam don't list yet. Cab don't list yet. And there are bit of numbers supposed to come out soon. So
Cab was tiny. Allocation.
Yeah.
So Cab, I saw say that it was 1,000. Everybody get them first 1,000. Mayberry customers and the public. Same 1,000. So I guess my assumption is that they split that up nicely, but who knows? Yeah. When we see the final, we'll know. Alliance not out yet.
No.
People excited about that?
Very weird. We'll see when it's out.
Yeah. You don't think so? I have reason to be excited for it.
I just want to see. I want to see it.
Here's my basic reason. It's a financial group. Sagicor select financial funds.
Has to buy it.
Yeah, has to buy it.
So I think Cab is an insurance broker.
Which means it's financial also.
Which means Sagicor has to buy it.
Has to buy it also. But they might take the time on that. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or maybe, who knows? And Select F though, new financial group coming to the market. Once a new financial group hits the market, that must be an uplift for Select F, right? You think they might issue more shares to buy in?
I don't know. We'll see.
I might be excited.
It makes sense to me, sis. Because otherwise, you have to be skim money off the top of everything, and then buy into that new thing.
But they might do that.
But whenever the thing is,
it's neater to just do the rights issue.
It's annoying for them to raise money. I think. Not raise money, to rebalance that portfolio, because if they skim off everything, right? So if they sell something, it affects the price, and then whatever the scheme will be based on today's prices. When you make the scheme, it affect the price, and tomorrow when you're buying the portfolio weighting of that thing will be the weighting of that thing in the index. So to buy that now, you
have to rebalance again.
Yes.
But these guys are good. I don't have to tell you about that, about being good at math, but these guys are great at their math.
The thing is,
every day it changes. Every day they have to do a rebalance.
I think at some point I think at some point there is the equity fund. They're trying to match the index. So I feel like at some point they get up and say, they realize it's pointless. It's fruitless. It doesn't make sense to try to balance in that way.
Well, I think it's just profitable to them to balance it the other way.
Other way would be?
Sagicor does, in the event that they were to choose to do a rights issue. I mean, rights. All right, so let's say they group together.
Oh, no. Rights issue makes sense. It makes more sense to me.
And not just that, it's also profitable to them.
True.
You have maybe Sagicor buy it and hold it, buy it at IPO, hold it. You need to match the index as at the end of the quarter. So whatever rise between IPO date and quarter end goes to the selling entity, I guess, unless it serves them better to have it go to I bought that IPO and I'm guaranteed to sell it to you by the end of the quarter at whatever the market price is. I then eat the gains on that, right? So if it come out at $1 and when you buy it from me, you buy it from me at $2.
Oh, so the cash is spread.
Well, Sagicor makes more profit. That's easy profit for Sagicor, the brokerage. Everybody right now the financial groups are eating through their brokerages. The most exciting part of every financial group right now is their.
So you're saying, so the cash that buy that? Oh, so sell it to my market price.
So I'm selling it to you at market price.
Sell it to who?
At the end of the quarter.
Sell it to who?
I, broker man.
Sell it to Select F.
Selling it to Select F.
Selling the stock I bought.
Yeah, a certain amount, because we know the weighted amount that you want. We have a good idea of the weighted amount that you want for that. Maybe I have more. So maybe you need. Work it out, you need between 3.5 to 4 mil, and I have 7. So I know that at the end of the quarter, I'm guaranteeing to sell you it at market price. So it makes a lot of sense for me if I think it's going to go up to get my units in early. Because when you're buying it at the end of the quarter, you being Select F, you'll buy it from me at whatever that price is. Select F mandate is that they're trying to match the returns of the index. Good, bad, or ugly, right? So when they balance it at the end of the quarter, it balance, it done. And whatever happen after that, happen after that.
Okay, cool.
You get me?
Okay, yeah.
So it's a way for me, the person behind that, to possibly benefit.
I was wondering if it actually perfectly balanced that way. It doesn't, but that's fine.
it perfectly balances on that day. And once you balance it, it's done. There's no, you don't have to do any rebalancing after that unless somebody new comes to the market again.
I was looking at that, you know. I was more thinking, so they do done. And you say that whatever price it is on that day, and the day is going to end that price, and the balancing will be changed at the base of that. So yes, it actually worked.
I know it works because I did one myself.
A way to balance it, yeah.
Once you pick a date that you balance it as of, that's it, and you can just say that date.
Just put that date and the amount of shares, and if you can move it over into the thing, you're fine.
Yeah, well, you just have a trustee arrangement that whatever the date, the amount is on this date, you will pay me that. I'm delivering you these shares, and you will pay me whatever the amount those shares cost on the end of the quarter, March 31st, blah, blah, blah. It's a nice way to bake in profit for yourself if you control both things, right? I just meant that I think I can see that being something good to help Sagicor, Jamaica, and Select F. I remember, they are the managers. I remember the actual role was.
Yeah, Sagicor Investment are the managers.
Yeah.
The fund managers of.
Whatever it is, they're related to it. So, who turns on money? Yeah, you and I have both said on this podcast that indices are a great way to make money, and more people should do them. More people should do more indices.
You may earn some money, I would do it, you know?
Yeah, hey, you want to put that together? I'm ready to. I already do it. It'd be great to do it for more people in terms of an actual company and not just myself. What's an index? That's what people think. Or what's the indices? Indices are a bunch of indexes.
Yeah, index is just a basket that you, for whatever reason, decide this basket has this certain characteristic, and you buy it based on that characteristic.
That's right. I have an entire episode on that called the JSE's new M&D index that we did last year. It feels like so long ago. Yeah.
It's funny. It's a whole last year fly. The start of the year feels like when we started this podcast. It feels like
it feels like we've been doing this for a year, right?
Yeah,
we've been doing this since about the middle of August.
So, over halfway through the year we started this. Crazy.
Yes, so like the 6 months mark.
Yep.
Wow. Almost every week, minus a couple of gap weeks.
Yeah.
So sorry, guys. It is very hard to do content and put it out. You would not believe. You would not believe the difficulties if you have a life and it's not all of your life. What else you want to talk about? 138 SL, over 100% in a week.
Yep.
Wow.
100% in a week.
Over 100% rise in a week. How you feel about that? Big up Miss Jilly J. See, I got that right the first time. Just like how she got it the first time. Our first episode of 2020, two of the things she spoke about were 138 SL
and Pulse,
both of which have performed quite hot since then. Pulse close to that $11.30. And 138 SL is kind of down from its peak. Yeah, it fell down 17% today.
There's some buyouts today. There's some sellers that sold it.
Some people sell, but I don't see what the price is that it closed at. Actually, I do. It closed at $7 flat.
I think the trades went through at that.
You think the what?
The trades went through at $7 flat. So
the numbers in November. Unaudited numbers in November, I think, telling how much they had done for the
year end. So we just got was a follow up report. But
they do that because of the rule. It's good for people to know the rule that at the end of the period you have either 45.
45 or 90, yeah.
Or 90. So well, tell the rule properly.
The rule is at the end of the quarter when the results become due. If it's an audited result, if it's an year-ending results, then you can give. In 45 days, you have 45 days to give the unaudited results, the year-end results, and then within 90 days, you have to post the audited results.
You have to post the annual report.
No, audited financial statements.
And the other one, you have the choice to say. But I know that one is one that we should know. Shout out to
all right, cool. I'm sorry. Okay.
JC Knight, because I know he knows it.
Yeah, so
I'm
you have
sure he'll say it.
In the year-end reporting period, right? So at the end of the year, you have the option to either file your audited report within 60 days, say year-end audit, within 60 days, or you can file unaudited reports within 45 days at the end of the period, and then go forward within 90 days at the end of the period to file audited financial statements.
Point is that they told us at the point
But
in the
yes,
unaudited numbers for the 12 months,
They did mention that the claims.
the results were positively impacted by a claim under the concession agreement related to Irvine Hall, which is the claim, which is to say that if we get less people than you put in, you're supposed to pay us the difference.
Because they did work on Irving and all that too.
Yeah. That's a nice little thing to have in there. It guarantees you some income. Yeah. In other words, how much them guaranteed? 90% occupancy, I think?
90% occupancy, yeah.
Yeah, so if them fall below 90,
Then they get paid as if they had 90.
you will have to pay them for that. That's the nicest thing. Them want to drop below 90 because you get the money anyway. Yeah. But I'm sure on the flip side, I mean, more and more people coming in. So very soon they're running out of space again.
But yeah, but you know the thing. Again, our analysis initially was for them breaking 90% occupancy, because then additional revenue start coming to the company. Because if they hit 90 and below, then they get money.
You remember the time we did that group meeting?
Yeah, there was that.
So how many years ago was that? You shout out to
Alex.
Alex, the overlord.
Man, no, listen. We all got up and say, "Yo, the one treat of it." And
yeah,
then,
the man was like, "No, it can't happen. That's not. Don't make sense." Really. And I'm like, and his points made sense, but I also think he was going through the thing that I think a lot of people are like when you're really close to it.
Oh yeah,
I think
so
like
it's
if you,
so easy.
Yeah, so like if you see, because I've heard people talking about it, like people stay there and if they have trouble. If you are too close to it, you oftentimes think that things don't go bad. Sometimes you talk to workers at companies and what they say,
Worst place ever.
Worst place. It's terrible. I know what they're doing. Can't make no money. I'm like, bro, if you look at these financials, I know you might have had a rough week, but yeah, buy some shares in the company where you work. That's the lesson. You always looking for a gem. Here's a gem for today. If you work somewhere and they're listed, own shares in it, just on principle. 138 SL. Call from long time. Call from long time.
When did the results go on? Last results go on.
Which ones? Unaudited came out November, I would say.
19th November. So what was the chart looking like?
On the 19th of November, the chart was,
6 months. Yeah.
Has it been that much time?
Yeah, so yeah. I remember this. Around this time, you could have gotten it at $2.
Yeah.
And yeah, it bounced a little bit up. So to me, it was like a normalization, because if you look at the prices before this rocky period there.
Yeah, like in August, you could get it for $4.20.
And then
I think there was some news about them having trouble with the legal agreement between them and UA. It kind of fell down.
And it fell down.
And so in November,
we could have scraped it up.
You could get it for
cheap.
$2.86. It was at $2.86 for a good run of days between November 11th and November 19th.
So the results came out and it went back to.
And then it went up to its usual $3.78. No, sorry, $4.30.
Plus, yeah.
And then it kind of fluctuated in that $4 range until now, when
results come out.
Results came out again, where they have continued to do what they showed us they were doing all along from the fourth quarter.
So it's funny. So when I get my tweet, I responded to a tweet Ryan made about he called 138 on podcast. And he made a thread about it. But my response to him was, I don't buy it, whatever. But my thought was, it's the second quarter of good results. I don't buy it. I had meant to buy it, but like got
just never touch it. You never do it.
And then I saw results. So I was jumping to, I make one quarter gone. I never make the money on it. Do you know? Apparently, Ryan was a good news bird. Because somehow the market just found out again that 138 is listed and they're doing well. Despite one quarter of good results before this, let's now discover this quarter of good results.
Well,
so I don't know.
The first quarter result came out February 17, which showed them continuing what they
were doing before. The quarter right before.
Precisely, yeah. As they can see them show you them revenue rising.
Yeah, so
consistently from
there's a lot of buzz around it. Everybody's speaking about 138. Everybody's doing an analysis on 138.
But
yeah, it's crazy to me.
I mean, how many people? So
what was the profit in the quarter before this?
Net profit at 72 versus loss the same period the year before. And then profit in the period at 72 mil. I mean, easy signs for people. Net profit at 72 mil, but their 12-month figure is 11 mil, 11.7 mil. which obviously means that they had losses in the quarter before. Don't need to DM me and ask. It means that they had losses in the quarter before, or Google it, which is how I learned it, which is why I might be wrong. But 72.2 mil, and then now we just got reported to us their first quarter, and it's 182.8 mil. Rising again, and that's being compared to a 43.8 mil loss. And as I just said, if they made 72 mil in the last quarter, and the year end for them, which that same last quarter ends the year for them, was only 11.odd mil profit, it means that within the 3 quarters before that, or one of them, they had some strong losses coming down the line, right? No? Well, we see them comparing to one loss right here, which means they probably have 2 more quarters of losses to compare to.
My next step would be to what were the other 2 quarters last year looking like?
Look at that analysis. Wow. Analysis and prediction. The point of analysis. Yeah, so it would appear to me, my amateur eyes, that these guys are probably going to make significantly better profits
than last year.
I don't even know what to say. I don't. It doesn't. I don't know if I feel unimpressed by this. Like I know a lot of people might enjoy this. I hope you guys get it. For me, it feels like a waste of time because it's such an obvious thing. I want to find something that's not obvious.
Yeah, because the news out already. So I wait on now.
I don't know.
It's a buzz now.
June last year, the quarter ending the 30th of June last year, they also had a loss of negative 16 million.
And the one before that
was a loss too. So they have 3 more lost quarters to compare against.
2. Yeah.
This was the tweet that I'd seen. Is from Guru in Training. Big up Guru in Training, Simon. He was saying that 130 is having some serious problems. Have they finalized the issues they've been having to use guarantee? Profits continue to dip. They're now down 60 million for the 9 months. Retained earnings were 100 million last year. They're 9 million now. Stakeholders should be concerned. At the time of that tweet happening, I was a stakeholder. So you're saying comment and info.
What was interesting to me about this was, if you look at the thing there.
Look at the what?
This is the quarter right before the problem. Right before the fix.
Right, exactly. When things are down is when you should strike. You don't want to be... The point behind stocks is to get in before they get up. So you predict the good happening and then you jump in ahead of it. That's the point. And you analyze in order to predict the good ahead for the company. And that's when you get in. That's when you make the bets. That's why I'm so big on prediction. That's why we make the money, because we predict ahead of time. I actually commented on this, and I remember somebody sent it to me today. I just responded to him saying, factor in the one-off 54 million hit and then reassess. He said something which is accurate, that the one-off hit does not alleviate the concern, which is true. So I said, well, the one-off hit is...
It's funny to me, people are more willing to disregard one-off gain than one-off hits.
Strange.
As if one real and one isn't. They're both very real.
They're both one-offs.
I just saw a $54 million payment. It might very well be a problem, but next year I'm not taking it.
Exactly. Next year I'll be up 54 if things stay the same. I know things are going based on what I'm looking at. Things
as long as revenue can
better.
be proper, then are good.
Yes. Matter of fact, I'm looking to see if they were, well, in this picture I'm looking at, I can't see what they had, but they considered, they continue to put their money in, they continue to work, and they knew that what was happening was increased occupancy, because they had also finished a building that I think they hadn't built for before. So that building would have been new. I could be wrong on that point. I don't know if the building was new at that time or if it had already had 1 year in. But the point is, I know that occupancy would have been up, which it is, we're seeing. And, well, I mean, it's there. This is August the 30th, 2019. So now we are almost exactly 6 months from that date. Like Simon asked me then, August 30th, the one-off hit doesn't alleviate the concern. So given that the prices are depressed for it, you're bullish on 138. And I said the one-off hit is the 25% of revenue. I don't see what other major concerns there are. Some stuff I didn't want to say because obviously I could see this. I don't want to give away the play, which is an obvious play. And now 6 months later we can see what the play is. And I said it clearly, I hold a small stake and I waited on certain signs to increase the stake. You know what that sign was? December. December, when they say, oh, hey, we're better.
September.
When they said that the law, that they were okay, they were good and people seem good, it's around the time when Iran also tweeted it. Because they said that, things are good and the numbers came out.
So that was right before this?
No, that hadn't happened yet.
So
that was
right
signs
before September. That was September results were posted.
Correct, because September results come out afterwards, closer to December. So
basically, everything cool, and it's still results come out showing that everything was really cool.
And the money was showing from it. And then after that, at that point, it's obvious to me because you're past the one problem that you had, and we already understand the business is what the business is.
The thing is that next point Ryan was touching on today, I think.
What's that?
About it being it's more than just the numbers. The numbers are a reflection of something. As I said, account to the language. Business. You know, it's telling you what's going on.
Correct.
Cool. So you really ask yourself what's going on. It's you read the numbers on the page and say, boy, profit down. It's easy to do that and tell yourself that something going, profit down, something is wrong here. Leave it at that. Profit down, maybe because
find out why. The why is the thing that has made me the most money. Knowing the why.
And that crisis. All this company loss is nice because what happened? Is it going to be reversed? Yeah. Then next year is a nice time.
Well, we'll see. What if you go mail pack?
Mail pack.
Drop them numbers early. Chose to drop their numbers early. Came out with a strong
numbers, yeah.
And strong, but versus regular business, but a little bit behind their projections.
So the projection in the prospectus, they were above the numbers that came out just the actual numbers for the company that came out just now.
Okay. So does that if what?
So the way I look at it,
what caused them to be behind?
What caused them to be behind? If they had the whole period under review, if they had no tax on that period, then they would have they would have been predictions.
Okay.
I think the predictions they projected no tax. They projected no tax in that quarter. So I think the prospectus was likely done. It was already finalized before that time. So in
prospectus take a little time. The process of them take a little time.
Sometimes take a long time.
Yes.
But by the time you finalize anything, you come into market sales.
You work with what you work with, yeah. But I mean that again.
But yeah, so
that is an opportunity. That's just an obvious sign that.
So obvious sign that okay, so we're doing better than we said we were doing. But the tax make us actually going to pay that tax. So yes, we're actually not doing better, but we have a reason. We're showing that business is ahead of what we projected business to be at. So profit below, but business is ahead. Big profit below only because of the tax situation. When the tax come off the books because of the junior market tax break, then they'll be fine.
Well, last we talk about Pulse.
Pulse? It's been a while.
People supposed to sick of it. Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, they had their meeting. We actually haven't spoken on the podcast since they had their meeting. They had their meeting. That was great. They had some resolutions. They said that they're doing.
They passed a rights issue resolution. And they
or APO or APO because they said it. They said that they're considering when we say equity options, it includes.
Yes. Okay. Great. Good.
Yeah.
That is that.
Why? What were you going to say?
The same thing.
Okay.
So I heard that APO was suggested to them and they were not.
By one John Jackson, I gather.
Yeah. He suggested an APO to them, and they were they amicable towards it. They were saying, "Oh yeah, we'll consider it."
I think they just want the money.
Yeah, definitely. So no, they're leaving themselves open. I think that the way that it is written is leaving themselves open for more than just regular rights issue in the way it's regularly defined. So when they say rights issue being any means of direct seed of taking out money in the whatever
equity,
then to me that's them saying, okay, rights issue is generally this, but if we legally, you know what legal documents are. You write it and you write a definition. The definition might not be hard and fast. So usually is a definition of something, but because you define it like that within the context of this document, then that you can execute it in whatever in a certain way.
Okay.
So if the APO is executed as a rights, if rights is executed as rights is defined in a way where an APO can be on the table and executed as an APO. Then
okay, you're giving the people the most complex way. So then I've had this conversation. The idea is I've been saying that how long before somebody figures out in air quotes.
Yes, definitely.
That you can just put reserve classes in an APO
and call it a right.
It's
a rights issue in a sense.
Yeah, so you have an APO which brings in the whole public, but then you have a huge enough reserve class, and it's for it's for shareholders at a certain date. Matter of fact, if you put that date in the future, you will probably see a rise in your share price up to that date, which then makes the APO shares, if they are lower or if they're stated clearly, even more of a discount.
Yeah.
So for people who care about the share price, an APO with reserve classes is a no-brainer.
And the next thing.
But I could again just be talking. I don't know.
All right. The way I think about it, APO. So generally, when you want this, APO, you want to take up money. So a good way to do that, you're enticing the market about buying into your stock. If the share price is rising, then buying at any price, as long as it continues going up, despite the lower offer being on the table for them, then they're more enticing because of that gap that's widening.
And it's so funny. It's a weird situation. It's one of the few situations in which, let's say the APO date is 2 weeks from now. The cutoff date for being a shareholder is a week from now. Even if I'm not a shareholder, it profits me to go on and buy it no matter how the share is flying, because once that date passes, I now have the right to buy X amount of shares at a lower price. So it actually is one of the few situations where even though you don't hold anymore, it hits the same thinking I have when I think about my average pricing.
It's definitely average pricing.
Yeah, but in this case, you get the benefit of that situation, average pricing situation, without actually having the stock, because you can buy it up higher. The stock is at $5 hypothetically, and people flying it all the way to $10 because is next week you're going to be able to buy it at $1. And I don't own any. I am fine buying it at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 because next week I qualify for it at $1. In fact, I want it at 10 because I want some at 1. Yeah, it's a great situation. There's a lot more that can be done in there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's an oversimplification of it, but it's a great situation to have. Yeah.
And again, you're selling shares. So if you put that mechanism in there, then there's more reason for people to be in an APO because there's more gain than just buy it and hope the valuation of the APO, whatever APO valuation is coming out of that. Yeah, there's more incentive to that than just that. Because if I buy it, you get me?
So APO makes it a win-win for everybody involved, including the company.
If the APO has a clause for it, if the APO has a
clause for current shareholders,
for current shareholders,
which then helps you with a decision sometimes between APO versus rights issue, just both. Yeah, the APO with rights.
If you put the rights in there, then it's almost like a renounceable rights issue. It's just that
the terms of the APO
they don't have to be renounced.
Exactly. Less steps.
There's some on the board. There's stocks on the table more than just what is there for shareholders.
Yeah, you can go straight IPO issues, meaning reserve class, and instead of me having to come and buy your rights or
exactly.
It's just the pool will always, if you don't take it, the pool is the pool. There's this pool for people. When they finish it, and then it goes over to public.
Oh, didn't Barry do that? Where they said thing there, the shares that we're not taking up can now be subscribed for by
the public.
Yeah,
and I think some renounceable that usually have tiers like that. So it's like it goes to this tier, that it goes to you, then everybody else who is a shareholder, and then maybe the directors, and then after that the public.
We can buy into it. Yeah,
and usually it doesn't go that far. So usually people.
I really want this.
APO rights issue usually an opportunity for you to make profit in that capital gains way. That way that we love. Pulse, still loving it. Currently,
and $11. They're looking on more to go, so they're looking on new business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yo, Gordon and Jermaine, that episode, Gordon's target price for Pulse was $13. Pulse is currently $11.30.
I'm near.
Yo, Gordon, I hope you buy some. I hope you listen to this, and you listen to this as a fellow Pulse shareholder, sir. Big up Gordon and Jermaine for that episode.
Yeah.
Pulse is the at $11.30. How you feel about it? That's a PE at like 28. But they have so much.
But they have more coming.
Yeah. So much more coming. I really like Pulse.
As I said before, PE up with a high PE when the expectation of future business is coming. Not necessarily a bad thing. Because if you expect more profits, you're pricing in future profits.
Yeah, a high PE is often an indication of shareholders saying
KW.
Yeah, I don't even like talking about KW, boy. Still high. What's KW's PE these days?
Enough. But guess what?
It's always been enough.
It's funny. Your view on KW, the KW because of the PE.
Yes, has always prevented me from buying it.
Yes, well, how much you like JP right now? which is
hypocrite stab. I like that.
it's so much KW in there.
KW's current PE is 35 times, and JP's current PE is 21 times.
So to me, at JP consolidates KW. So they're the majority shareholder. They're the majority shareholder, controlling interest in KW, right?
Mm-hmm.
With that bigger gap and good business going on in the rest of JP outside of the KW, but they consolidate.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's buying JP. You're buying KW for cheaper than buying KW.
There
itself.
we go. Yeah, what the investing types will tell you that you're getting exposure to Kingston Wars without the risk,
without
exactly. The direct risk. Yeah. It's like buying Panjam.
You're diversified.
It's like buying Panjam because there must do something with all this that's happening with Sagicor and the banking. Something must be there for Panjam.
Uh-huh. And what do you call it again?
In my opinion, anyway.
So jump to Panjam. But with the piece of KW that JP owns, buying it's priced in better buying JP
than KW.
Yeah. So
because you get a direct impact of the KW's profit without a lot of the other headaches per se directly.
Yeah, and without even the steep price of it, because the 35 PE versus 21 PE.
Yeah.
And forward pricing the profits.
Yeah.
At a very different level at that point. So I'm getting cheap I'm getting KW cheaper through JP.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan said that sometimes. Doesn't he use that term sometimes?
What's that?
Exposure. That's his thing. Taking exposure in one company through another. I believe that's one of his risk mitigation strategies. Like Select F.
Yeah.
Select F. But that's a grouping of exposure. People don't think of it that way, but I like Select F. First Rock.
You mean you like when I was saying you like when people say things they don't understand in a way they think this, yeah. So you're diversifying.
Well, technically
you are diversifying, but you're still taking exposure to something. So it's like saying you're mitigating you're not.
I am mitigating my risk in some ways.
I'm mitigating my risk against this one company, but I am exposed to shocks, to group-wide shocks.
True.
Not group-wide, to industry-wide shocks for that thing.
True. I go one better, which is something I don't like saying on the podcast, so I'll say it this time. I'm also benefiting from the perception of the financial industry, which is what I think I've actually said it a couple of episodes, many episodes ago. One of the people who really like the show can dig it up and tell me, where I said that psychologically, Select F will move more psychologically than any of the big ones, obviously than NCB. NCB
just because of price.
Yeah, just because of price. And so imagine an alliance coming onto the market. Imagine any other banking group being in the market, or moving strong profits, or doing anything wonderful in the market. Immediately people going to start putting and say, hold on, the financial Africa, boom, bam, boom, right? Proven acting wicked from the other day.
JMB.
Like JMB, don't even get me started.
I don't want to about JMB.
Brother.
I don't want
Let me finish the Select F point. The point of Select F, I feel it reflects more than just the value of its assets. I think it's going to start reflecting perception of the industry. I believe it does reflect perception of the industry, and you can see it between the gaps. But I play the perception game heavy.
I want people to.
I'm not worrying.
No, but
I'm not worrying. It's below value right now, and when it moves up towards value, much like QWI will hopefully do one day. I didn't even look at it in a while. How is it doing? How is QWI doing?
Taking my eyes off of it.
You're taking your eyes off it like something burning you. 88 cents.
I look for where I said it's already done on a podcast before about the tracking of QWI. The daily tracking, to me, the NAV versus the actual price. If you don't believe the NAV, so if you don't believe this company is going to be better and the NAV going to go up and all that nice stuff and the profit going to go up, then watching day between, oh my God, the price falling and the NAV falling with it. If you believe it's going to do well, just buy it. It's already below the price, the value it is now.
Yeah, it was 88 cents.
But then
it's above 40%, 39.7%, 39.8% below its net assets value.
And if you're in it with this fearful tracking, boy, let me track everything that QWI is in. That's good. It's good to track that. Definitely go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they tell us in their last report.
But then if you go about it in the every day, boy, the thing them tracking, this thing them hold drop, you don't know how much them hold today, but it drops here, start fret.
And it's actively traded, so you can never really tell. Yeah, it's not
really
like
tell.
Select F. It will move around.
Yeah.
So, as we saw them add US stocks do it recently. Yeah, so they have exposed themselves to US stocks, and they've done well on it so far.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, they've actually grown their US stock holdings quite a bit.
Yeah. So if you're there tracking fearfully and you're watching it go down, hoping to God say, all right, it's going to turn around. Just check it out.
Yeah. Quick tip to any.
And you know where to look at it, and you can actually track the profit if you find where the nav is this nav is up or down on the quarter. You know the revenue is coming into the company.
Yeah.
But the fearful everyday tracking, I'm really not about it.
That really makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over the last, I think, 3 weeks, it has moved in terms of NAV less than 1%. Yeah, almost 1%. $1.22 per share. A week later, $1.23 per share. A week later, $1.23 per share. But you can get it for 88 cents per share. So why won't it go up to $1.23 per share? Well, if people won't buy it at that, it won't go up to that.
Exactly that. So that's where the fear comes in. So if
I want to pay a dividend,
you can get it now at below now.
I want to pay a dividend so badly.
Oh gosh! I think anyway, I'm gonna tell you for MJE already.
Oh Lord!
I've said it on the podcast. For the same with MJE. So when there's a spread in the NAV and the thing there,
the what?
The NAV and the price, the dividend. So and a dividend goes to actually the QWI company, right? And they pay a portion of that dividend. Then you might get a better price. You might get a better dividend rate than just if you held the portfolio outright.
That one getting deeper now in terms of dividend rate, because you're going, dividend yield, your personal dividend yield might actually be better
holding
based
QWI.
on the holdings that they have, right? In fact,
so suppose they get a 10% dividend yield.
QWI has a heavy holding in Access, which is part of, I believe, what is screwing them up.
Yeah, access is going down. So
yeah, so and they hold so much Access that it is dragging them. I don't know why they bought it, but I mean, I assume those guys have a better knowledge than me. And a longer horizon and different plans.
I prefer saying that. They have a different... or they might simply disagree with us. And one of us wrong. So if I say Access wasn't a good buy at whatever price you bought that, and they say Access is a good price, and they have the timeline in, when we reach there, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out.
But if they simply disagree or whatever, they buy Access. Access is the dividend payer.
It is. Access does pay dividends.
So it's supposed to get a 10% dividend yield on their portfolio, right? So 10% of the money comes out and they pay out, say, 8% of that money to shareholders.
And you can check this for the dividend policy.
But you're 30%, you bought the price at 30% below the NAV.
You technically would have been exposed to the higher dividend rate from whatever their holding company, their holdings are. Yeah. Than you'd have paid for it, which is why they've been buying back their own shares so much, I believe, because it's also great. They also have a rule now that whenever it's more than 15% below.
Oh yes, they can go in the market and think there.
Is it still 15% below? It's currently at $1.23 per share, and it's available for 88 cents per share. $1.23 is almost 40% ahead of that.
Yeah, so you should be able to come back and buy some.
Yeah, I hope that. Well, they've been buying. I've noticed.
Yeah, trading in shares.
Yeah. They're 29%. So 88 cents is 29% of the NAV. And they have a 15% trigger at which point they can buy. Really excited about this year. But while talking about these companies, talk about some companies that we never talk about. I'm telling you that, let me do it myself. I mentioned First Rock, I just said it just now. I think
we mentioned First Rock before though.
I don't know if we've mentioned it much on it. We spoke about, I think, what it is and what before listing. It has now listed, so it is currently it closed today at $14.88. It would seem.
So it's below IPO price.
Yeah.
My view.
What was the IPO price?
1670, I think, or was it 17? Something. Was it 1670?
I think it's 1661.
Oh,
could be wrong. I should know.
You can just check it.
Yeah, 1 second. I look at these. I look at these things so often that all of them run together. First Rock IPO price, and it was tied to the US in a different way. They used a little bit of
yeah, man. So it's based on the day the prospect was released, and the US rate at that day. And
equivalent to US 12 cents, I think. So they use, I think, 1661 on a specific day. I like that they explain it. 1667 was their price per share at the time. I actually am scared that because I'm reading this from an article instead of where I should be reading it, it could be incorrect. That shows you how much I trust some articles. So let me make sure I actually open up the prospectus properly and answer it.
So
answer the question.
You can bring up the thing they rate?
No, but let's tell you at the point in time. They told you at the point in time what
good.
it was. And that's why I was saying it was good because they explained what the equivalent was in Jamaican dollars. So 1667 was the subscription price at the time. Message for those people. I mean, I figure those people bought knowing what they're knowing. A lot of people who asked about it, almost everybody who asked about it, I'm buying for the long term. Very few people, I think, well, at least in my view, that spoke to me, said anything about anything shorter than the long term. So them currently being on a...
Out of advisors I heard recommending it on the basis of a longer term than your regular.
The regular thing?
Yeah, not a tomorrow thing.
Yes, it's not a popper stock. It's not an IPO flipper stock. Yeah. And I think that was known from before. Yeah. And I think even the guys that first got themselves spoke to that. Everybody spoke to it as a long term. It's real estate. It's changing of how the industry looks.
Yeah, and they hadn't bought anything really as yet, so they had a lot of cash. They were making
they own things. Remember?
Yeah. What the money they had made money on thing there.
They had some projects notes in the works already. They had made money from notes, yes, but they had projects in the works already, and they had part of the IPO was to go to buying into other properties, other plans that they had going through this year and next year. And then I know they do have a rights issue according to the prospectus projection. That they project rights issues for this year and next year. So I guess they plan to continue to expand. Very interesting business, very interesting for those people. And they're looking currently, if you bought at 1667, should have been the IPO price, assuming that you weren't one of the people who got one of the reserve shares. I don't remember that different prices, but the idea is you'd be down right now a little over 11%. If you really believe in it in the long term, 11% cheaper might be a nice thing.
Nice place to be.
And remember, they have a hell of a dividend policy. I won't go over the prospectus.
No,
people can check. It has a hell of a dividend policy in it. Yeah.
But the way I see it, when the time comes, it will be attractive to people.
Of course. Just like
Signals.
Just like Signals.
The general sentiment in the market.
Nothing is bad. It's just not
in every market. It's funny, you know.
Depending on what your personal views are. Sorry, go ahead.
But in every market, most of the trading thought is not on a long term view.
Not necessarily.
So which is why you have longer term people buying in at certain prices and being okay. So they ride whatever wave.
That's why the funds are buying heavy at higher prices and whole. That's why pensions will buy because pensions have a longer time.
It's generally why stocks will move upwards. So like longer term man, those see the value. The short term man, the longer term man is in. The short term buyer will those see the value, so exit even at a discount, even at a below his price because guess what? I have other opportunities. My timeline is better suited to other opportunities. Exactly. But I'm coming back when opportunities is there for my timeline to capitalize on it. And then they push the price up.
Exactly.
So
it's just to understand that different people have different timelines. That's why it works. Because, all right, stock is at $10. Simple version of what you just said. In case anybody was lost, because people always say that we're lost with the tangents. So stock costs $10. And I decided to say, I bought at $5. I'm selling at 10. That's great. But to the pension plan who is buying it from me, they're like, this, in our view, in 3 years is going to be worth $25. Or in 10 years, it'll be worth $25. I'll buy it from this guy at $12 now. That's more than 100%. And we have long timelines. To me, I'm like, it's $10 and then we'll buy it from me for $12, right? And I'm thinking in my mind, they really are dumb. I'm getting one over on them. And they are thinking, this guy is really dumb because he doesn't know this is a $25 stock. We're both right.
Because the thing is, so year one passes, it's still $12. Year two passes, still $12. So year 3 now, results come out that show that start looking, the results fit a $25 valuation. And pension guys already in.
Yeah.
This is me coming back now to say, boy, $12 stock and it's worth 25. Me I go buy.
Wow, I buy it right now. Yeah.
Me and everybody buy it all the way to 25.
Yes, and the pension guys go, we saw this 3 years ago, and I say, you know what, thank God you're right. Congrats, fellow shareholder. I'm with you, but I didn't need to stay for the 3 years. And for you, who maybe you want a big volume, so it took you 3 years to buy up your volume, congrats. You also did that. Win. The market literally is for everybody. I like that so much. I like the concept is so obvious to me. Sorry, let me get too passionate. What's a company? Cab. Everybody's saying, how come we don't talk about Cab? Yeah, let me big up. I want to big up one specific tweeter who decided he was going to send me a DM and bad me up because we had taken so long with the episode that one time. Steph_NJA. Jonathan me say, yo. Oh. I say I had a whole heap of stuff going on. Man say, well, then I need to step up.
Sergio, I really had the fun.
You know him?
Yeah, man. He did AXA actually. He's a year ahead of he was a year ahead of me at Campion.
Berate him, man. That's a good dude. I remember when I tell him, I say, yes, boss, you're right. You're right. And it was a good conversation. I like that. I like when our listeners keep us in check. So thank you for that, bossy. And yeah, then I need to step up.
It's funny, there's another Steph. Stephen. When Stephen had mentioned that, so when the podcast was late, and the guys in the group were running jokes, say, pressure Danai. And Stephen said, boy, Danai I work, you know, so maybe you sure you can say that. So for all the people that are not necessarily working,
wow. Oh, wow. Unemployed shade. Well, big up Steph for that. I remembered it and I had to mention it. But
somebody in this room shade nodding the head and I said not necessarily working.
Yeah, you know what? Let's stick to the people who are on the podcast. Yeah?
Also a sweep. Also a mop. This them no wash.
So I mentioned him because I was saying he also tweeted. I saw a tweet he had asked about cab, and I'd said I'd wanted to do that cab session. I never did a cab session.
What?
I haven't done any growers from the years of people killing me. So you don't
do first rock?
Growers. No, I did do a first rock. Sorry, apologies. But I don't know if that's last year or this year.
No, I told somebody that you have to do IPO, grow IPOs.
I do. I said the same thing that I have to do.
I'm just putting it out there that you have to do them.
Yeah.
So I told somebody that he has to do them. So
I do have to do them.
Okay, great. That's reinforcing.
So I will continue to have to do them, especially because there's a huge charity element to them. So I like doing that. But I had not done one for cab, so I should do one, even though cab is now closed and we're waiting to hear the final. I know we mentioned it earlier in the podcast, but I should say, I mean, quick once over what it is. It's a brokerage company.
It's an insurance broker. So basically, insurance brokers they live on the spread. So
exactly,
if this company
and they get a float also. Yeah.
So Sagicor, whatever insurance company, they want to get the life insurance for like a group of people,
as many as they can.
Exactly. So almost anybody goes to an insurance broker and they tell them, hey, find the best insurance out there for me, because guess what? I'm not walking around to every insurance company and shopping around. So they find the best person, they find the best insurance rate that person can get, and then they sell the policy to the thing there.
Yeah, and they get paid a little for that.
They get paid. And even so I know that where they do like recurring payments often is like when Philberg.
Big up Philberg Invest.
Yeah, man. So Philberg Invest, he has a medical practice, right?
Yeah.
And he wants to offer medical health insurance to all his doctors and staff.
Okay.
Oftentimes, the best person for him to talk to is the insurance broker to say, "Yo, get me the best deal for my group of workers, a policy."
Yes.
And then they go to the insurance company, and then they just run that.
They work something out.
Work something out, and they get the commission. A piece of the commission every single time.
Yeah. Let me go one better. Why it might sometimes even be more expensive, but it might be better terms. So the broker and maybe the big insurer, the reinsurer has a good relationship.
The actual insurer.
Yeah, the actual insurer might have a great relationship, right? So maybe I only have to pay them once every 6 months.
Oh yes, you have to.
Yeah, yes. And so I extend to you because you would have to pay me maybe every month, but you don't have that kind of money. So I say, here, well, you're going to pay me every quarter. So maybe the broker covers sometimes that sort of situation. And they might charge a little extra for it. So what it does is it frees up your cash flow over a certain amount of time. And you pay a little bit more when you pay for that. But for that privilege, the value of that extra cash flow, that extra time in which you don't have to pay your overall policies, might be of such value to you that you're willing to pay a broker for
Interesting. Out of car dealerships.
it.
Not a car dealership. So again, car insurance. So the general insurance persons, they have this one-time payment thing. So you pay me the money now, and there's no flexibility on payment. So you can't pay.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah,
and so a broker
can
allow you to pay every month.
Get that spread. So I pay them the one time, and you pay me every month.
Yeah, and in that time is the benefit.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, so that's a good idea, Cab. The business, I won't go too deep. The business to me looks good. I think they're going to benefit from the fact that they have a tax break. It's going to be tiny allocations because it's a small company. Don't complain. Get more if you really love it, or ignore it if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Small allocation, beautiful company in my eye. If it repeats, you were saying to me earlier, if it repeats it.
If it repeats business, so I was looking, the repeats business, so they had a loss in the
first quarter last year.
Fourth quarter last year, I think.
Sorry, same period last year. Same period last year. Report, yeah.
So for the 9 months, I think the PE was really low, and that was factoring in
the last quarter.
No, man. So the 9 months, I'm removing the last quarter.
Okay.
So you see that business without the last quarter, really good because the PE is low on those 9 months, and that's with the tax in there. So with the tax removed, so going forward, they will have no tax. So the income tax burden is gone, and business is maintained, and they have a really low PE.
Well, even lower PE, you mean to say?
Yeah, even lower.
Yeah. In other words, you think that it might be a good enough deal at a certain price, and I also like the price. I like how it looked. And I like that our market is at such a level where a company like this is considered tiny.
Tiny. People are complaining.
Not
putting off on more
really
shares.
Worth it. And then it came at a time where it's right before Trans Jamaica, and nobody's paying attention. What? What?
The people who need to see have seen. It's funny to me, like
couldn't win the lotto because I was buying the cash pot ticket, and cash pot was such a big deal in front of me. But I don't like using the gambling analogy. It's just you if you care about the money, it's there. I like, so big up Steph _NGA for ensuring that I stay on top of this podcasting thing and keep the content high. And I hope our little light analysis at CAB there is enough for you in terms of realistic analysis. Of course, it's going to be a tiny allocation for the people who went into it. I think the public got less than 9
I'm laughing with CAB like I'm laughing with Lumber.
Why?
Lumber is near its IPO price.
Yes, it is.
The type of business Lumber runs it's really just a straightforward business.
Very clear.
Buy some things, I'm going to sell some things.
Very clear. Which touches on blue power, which might also be a nice dark horse in the next
also touches
quarter
on
or two, but let me leave that alone.
It touches on dividends. Because them sell this and it's a straight cash thing when we're running basically. So when dividends are easier paid when the company is cash rich, if I'm buying Lumber at IPO price, the PE was around what? Was low. On year 10, 11 around there.
What's that? Lumber's IPO
Lumber's
price?
IPO price.
It was 141.
PE, not the PE, man. It was 120. The IPO price was 120. The PE was a nice PE. It
was a nice PE. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head, but yeah.
Yeah, so if you're buying it near, basically, if you're buying it near IPO price, then you're buying dividends at a cheap level. That's the way I see it. Because dividends compared to dividends on low PE stocks are of the same nature, like cash rich company or whatever, would be good.
That's great.
So the dividend rate, yield you get is higher.
Yeah. Anybody that's complaining that they never get a whole heap in Lumber, it's available.
It fell.
It's available if you truly care about it.
That's a nice thing to say. So when you hear stuff like that, Lumber didn't get much anything there. It's near IPO price.
And you can get much more now.
The volumes are so good.
Yeah, the volumes are really good. You don't have to worry about it. What was the IPO allocation for it? 9%, I think?
2,000 shares. 20,000 shares or 2,000 shares?
20,000 shares.
And 9% above it.
Wasn't 2,000 shares and 9%?
Check.
I'm not going to check. Somebody will check and tell us.
Right, cool.
I remember it and Mailpack together. One was 2,004%, and another one was 20,000 and
9%.
And 9%. One was 4%, one was 9%. That's what I remember.
Cool.
Yeah, the point is one of them did nice. But right now, J Trader screwing with me, so I want to actually tell you. Right now, we are seeing lumber available. So you would have gotten, let's say, either 2 or 20,000 shares. But right now, I can look in the queue and I can see lumber shares going for...
My word.
151. And you can get 72,000 shares for that.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. They make a mental note of that. There are a lot of shares here. Yeah. In a year, this is not going to look the same. All right. Well, I like
fair
what to. What's fair? Dana is pointing at a big order in the queue. Somebody jumping out at 185, or maybe that's somebody who paying off a debt and making them money. You never know. What you said the IPO price was?
$1.20.
$1.20, and that's a big order at 185.
Almost 50% too.
More than
50% over, a little bit over 50%.
54% when in fees and whatever. Them covering themselves. So 50% gain. It came out in December. If them sell this over next 3 months, 50% in 3 months, couple mil.
Market made what last year?
The market made 31% last year across the whole year. So
beat the market in 3 months and you keep fine.
Good luck to that person. Good luck to that. I hope you make it. I hope so. But yeah, a lot of nice little things. I think I said it sneakily. I know I said it sneakily more than once in this episode, but people are only going to hear it once when I mentioned this company because I didn't like how the first one sounded. This one, however, I do think we should mention it. iCreate. How do you feel about it right now? iCreate, which we have had Tyrone on this show. Tyrone, shout out. Let me know if you want to come back. Down to 68 cents. Almost every day I tell Dana how bad I feel about iCreate.
I mean, they call it for one click.
I call it up and down.
Yeah, and
I feel bad about that sometimes.
Why? Reality is reality, you know. It doesn't change. Why you feel what I thought? I'm not getting that answer.
Because I talk to the people who tell me that I say something that I know I don't say. Because sometimes I make them play it back. I say, go play it back right now. And I say, oh no, but I did hear it as. Apparently people just think that once we talk about a company and based on how our voices sound, we either sound good or bad, so that's how the company is. So at some point we sounded good. And Kalila, big up Kalila, also had Tyrone on
the show,
on her show, and Kalila always sound good. I guess Tyrone sounded good, and the share price flew. Now I don't know if that's why the share price flew, but it was around that time.
And so I heard a lot of the way he spoke or what he was saying gave them the impression that profits were coming down.
Homeboy said,
and I fully did not hear that.
Big things happen. Kalila, big up. Let's see if I can put that clip in.
So obviously, even when Q4 numbers come in, you're not going to hit that one.
No, we're not going to hit that. So our focus now is to move forward. We have a fresh year ahead of us, 2020. And the entire team is aligned as to our objectives for the business.
And that's going to impact the rest of your projections as well for the 5-year plan that you had put forward.
It's not significant when you look at it. I think the most important thing to look at is the bottom line, right? What type of profit we're making or projecting to make.
I'm paraphrasing. He said, things are looking great. There's some big things coming, but not in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So, and then it fly up to 80 something cents from its usual. Like it had dipped to 50 odd cents, and it was in that little area coming from 50 odd to 70 odd. So I got it in the 60s and the 70s, and then it fly all the way up to 80 odd cents. Still sound low, but in percentage terms, you buy something 60 odd cents and you sell at 80 odd cents. And on the day when it closed at 80, it has gone higher than that because I got a sale at 88 cents. Yeah. And it has subsequently fallen all the way down back to 68 cents. So I bought in early, made a hella percentage, sold, and I bought back in the 60s, and I'll probably buy more, and it probably go down to the 50s, and I'll probably buy more. Because I still think the company is great. I still think the company has something huge coming. And I'm always up for the real conversation. That's one thing I read about Tyrone. Man, read. I'm not hiding nothing.
He's very
open.
About something. Yeah.
Very clear with him company. It's the first time I'm seeing something that's not open, and I want to ask him about it because he got a bond, 25 mil bond. So I want him to come in
24
and
mil
talk.
bond, yeah.
Yeah. I want him to come and talk about him, the bond and the company. We'll see. You guys hear Tyrone maybe in the future. I can bring him back. Love to hear him talk. More iCreate.
Definitely.
This time, yeah. And see where he's in the journey, you know, and put him voice out there. I like the new age, the new space that we're in. One or two more, never call it, because we've been talking like a while now. I snuck and said it earlier. Blue Power. You think it's been oversold? You think it's been sold down too much? Blue Power is now.
Yeah, it went down. It was lower. Look on the thing there.
$5.
Exactly.
I have to kick myself.
Yes.
I have to kick myself because I knew it was being oversold. It went all the way down to the 3 something down.
And I was like, wait. We spoke about this.
I really hope I bought.
I know I did not. The work thing on Marshmallow, man. When I saw things I missed, I was like, all right, cool.
It's back up at $5.
Interesting change. CPJ profitable.
Yeah, they make some money.
They made profit.
A couple of people make money.
But the outlook on it was kind of murky because of what happened, and they were down in the rough for a while. They're in profit this last quarter. It's on the back of the increased revenues, the expenses held. So I think they were skirting. It might be that they were skirting close to their fixed expenses. So revenue down and then in loss, but as you revenue up a little bit, then you're profitable and expenses kind of holding. So to me, it's probably looking like, so there were some efficiency in the selling worked out better. Wouldn't be efficiency in the selling. It would be more that they just made more money and the fixed expenses.
Somewhat. I think there's a lot happening in that company. I'd like to look at it properly.
I definitely do that properly.
Yeah,
but the glance I took was profit. I saw the revenue and I saw the expenses and I said, wait, they didn't really change much. And the revenue wasn't, oh my God, more revenue.
Yeah, so that's efficiency or
So
something. And no one-offs? I didn't check. You don't
I don't think we're one-offs. What?
You don't think
you
they're
can
one-offs?
Check it.
We'll check. Well, I'm going to check now because I don't want to lengthen this too much.
Oh,
Key.
I get it. Key.
Wow. The GK buyout of Key has not yet completed, and the share price is now down to 3. The old company, JETCON dropped some good results with it, no? Or they're both, or that don't happen yet. Have I spoke too soon?
They posted some results last time, had some good in it. Yeah.
And I think they're on the upswing now. I think whatever was wrong has been sorted. I haven't looked at it properly.
What was wrong?
I haven't looked properly. We need to do a proper earnings season episode or invite some people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We've been saying this.
We've been saying it forever. But we do invite some people. Invite back some people for a big episode this time. We'll see what's up. I continue to like JETCON. I'll leave it there. What's something that what's a stock that we've never mentioned on this show before? ISP. We've never spoken about ISP. I've never bought this stock.
Me neither. I might be lying. Hold on. I might be lying. Maybe way back when. Early days for me.
Yeah, there was a time when they jump.
There was a jump.
What did they?
I came on saw them.
Remember? Yeah, it was about the time when you joined. I think they're one of the people who jumped in right before the last time the tax break was going to jump. I
don't know. All right, so when I just started investing, right before Virgin Alex Overlord, before he started investing, he was looking at Access Financial. He was also watching. So his thought went on the thing. So the first stock he saw was Access Financial. And he said, just to start, and we just buy something. He chickened out. And he continuously showed me Access going
share price over this
just up. So he was going from 30 low to 50 odd, and then he just I think that was a lesson for him though.
That's his KW. Yeah, I hope that was a lesson for him.
If I just looked into that company,
I can't say nothing though because I dodged out the training from him. So let me be quiet on that. And looking at it, it's now $28.52, and it has had a split. Well, depending on when he was looking at it, it has a split. Mentioned Blue Power back at 5 and frustrating me. CAC 2000, which Gordon mentioned in his episode, which him said that the roads
Roads going to solve the problem.
The roads are going to solve it. Well, I drive down there the other day. The road smooth, you fret. It looks so good. It's like, it look like, I won't say it look like foreign, but I see the foreignness in it. Meaning the multi-level overpass, all of that, you can get to the companies easily. Did you know that CAC is very close to an outlet, or I don't know if they're still there, for DTL?
Yes.
Same side. Same
Because I know DTL something on that side.
Mm-hmm.
Did they do something down there? Something with that area fairly recently? Or
With
was
what?
I was looking back at something for detail. I can't remember.
DTL has been there for a long time. Though. Sampars has been there for a while. I don't know if they're still down there, but they used to be down there. I know it's a big place. I was
looking back at something because I remember they had acquired something in the area. So.
They're always acquiring. One boy never say every year once he has the money to, he's acquiring something.
Where is Woodcats?
I don't even know what them use it heavily. Woodcats, I think, might be near there because Wharf is near there.
Yeah, I think probably Woodcats.
In that area, in grab Woodcats.
Well, I was looking at something recently. I was around that time, but I can't check back.
Everything fresh, below $1 still. Damn, 81 cents.
They just got the pork business.
And they just cut the pork business. Didn't they just buy the pork business?
It was big, gave them all the losses.
Oh, pork seems to be doing poorly for everybody these days. Damn.
I don't hear SEP.ja complaining about pork.
Or the rest of the world.
Yeah.
It seems to be a glut. Not a glut, the opposite of a glut. High demand. This is all junior market. Kelly. They bought back their franchise business.
Their franchise business, yeah.
Yeah. It's a long time.
People are speculating that it's going to be the great for them, the buyback of the franchise business. We shall see.
You remember who owned a huge part of the franchise business?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it also really... Kelly's one to look into.
Want to watch.
One to watch. What's a main market company we've never... You spoke on the way here about MPC.
MPC did some changing the way they're accounting.
Looks.
So before they were accounting for their share of profit in the associate being the MPC fund that they invest in. So the fund directly invests in they directly invest in clean energy infrastructure within the region, right? The thing we own invest in that fund. So they've now changed their accounting. Before they were reporting a share of profit in the associate. So now they're reporting
the holding.
So it's the equity value. So basically, if the equity go up in the portfolio, equity portfolio go up, the value of portfolio go up, then they make money. If it goes down, then they lose money. But what I find very important is that they report with that change. They are now reporting on the dividend payments to the fund from the to the company from the fund.
From the holding. So they get to hold the value of the holding plus any cash spit out by the holding.
And the holding seems to want to spit out cash. So
it seems to be created for that.
Interesting enough, in the reports previous, so when the share of profits, you couldn't see if they didn't mention that, hey, there's a dividend coming, or check the cash flow statement, then you wouldn't see that, oh, we've got a dividend.
And they're a funny case, like I said. They're still the one who I would like to have the final answer for, and that dividend that got a lot of people confused and wondered about that. They reported some things, and then they actually reported a dividend long before they were saying anything. It was an interesting point. I remember having a conversation with JC Knight about it too. It's an interesting thing. We should go back to MPC at another time in the future. NCB 187.
Why?
So much? Wait, sorry. No, sorry. Is it cheap now or is it expensive now? I don't know.
You like no blessings.
180, and you can.
It's funny enough,
February this time last year.
It's been a while since I've held NCB. I think the last sell of NCB I had, what was it, 170 or 150 or there, before a stagnant period.
Really?
I got out because I saw stagnation for a while, and I said, all right, cool. My money needs to be somewhere else doing something else. And I didn't get in, but I didn't get back in.
And it went to 200.
Fine.
So you missed that? Oh no, Dana. You missed a jump from 170 to 200.
I know, right? I was too busy making gains elsewhere.
Yeah, 17% gain. That's what that is, 17% gain. However, this is a 17% discount then, because when it was $200, people were asking if they must still get in, right?
So yeah.
And now it's even lower when NCB is even bigger. I think I've spoken enough about NCB over the years. Clear what it is. Proven.
Proven doing them thing.
Like them find themselves and they're. I mean, you can get them for about $48 now.
Later on, they've gotten away thing there with JMB, who has added bonus from what's her name, from Sagicor Financial Corporation. So they find value from that transaction or from that holding in JMB. JMB has been. Why have we gotten a JMB?
What?
So Proven,
because it's a Proven.
See, you want to do
Proven
an
is the
ape.
biggest owner of JMB, you know so? Yeah.
The single largest shareholder, right?
You want to hear something funny? Barita is the largest owner of Proven.
Interesting, right?
Very interesting. What do you think about Sagicor? Sorry, same company. What do you think about Scotia?
I thought you were talking about Sagicor Financial. Guess who JMB is?
What do you think about WIG.ton? Yo, WIG.ton is back to 80 cents.
Yeah, I was found that interesting. Look, what I also found interesting was look on the sell queue. So it was being cleaned up at 81, 82.
Of course.
So what it does, it takes a while. It's been creeping back up.
Because there's so many units, it's hard to move this stock.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a lot of
that's
people.
been the issue.
Yeah.
Sure.
It takes a lot of true heavy perception. Like I was working on something else and I was mapping on I think the times in 2019. And there's a time when it flew. And I was trying to figure out why did it fly then or nothing happened. But no, that's when they reported the first 100%. Or not 100%. They reported a strong profit. Yeah. And then we saw them report a loss the other day. And now it's down to, it went down to 70 odd cents, 76, and it's right back up to 82 cents, so it's not back up. How much you want to bet in 6 months this is back to 90 something cents?
I've been wondering. Maybe very
2 quarters.
I remember they had a last quarter. In
seasonality. John Jackson did that thing saying that he is sure that there's seasonality and this proves it. There may be seasonality.
It's funny. He mentioned there's seasonality
at the start, and it turns out
that looking at
the results,
things swaying in the way he was saying. But I do wonder about it because, all right, so last year, the hit they took, they didn't take a hit from in this quarter.
Yeah.
So they didn't take a revenue hit in this quarter last year. So where is the seasonality? If there is seasonality, then you have to look at the thing there. Look at they did mention in the report that Windows was less than expected. Windows better last year. So where is the seasonality? Is it that wind is low within? If it's seasonality, then
is there
the same
seasonality with the wind or
then same periods you find the same average wind speed and type of thing there.
All right.
So how is it that? What is his prediction on seasonality? Where is it coming from? So quarter to quarter, will it be the same amount? Then
we'll see. We will see. What is important though is, in my view, to look at next quarter to see if it comes back up, because that means that there's one quarter you can always look to, but that means good news also then. And that quarter would be what? That quarter would it be the Christmas quarter? Meaning in terms of actual results. Is it
results? Oh no, Christmas quarter what we just saw.
Okay, so it'll be the January to March results.
You know, it's funny, this Christmas, I don't know if I don't think it was just me, but it just felt less windy. Doesn't it?
This Christmas felt less windy.
Oh yeah, I know. It did not.
So you didn't feel the Christmas breeze this year?
It was much less for me. A big man thing. So my place.
Big man thing. Got you.
My place, like, it says very windy.
That is true.
It was much less this year. Like I used to wake up in the morning and around this time and see, because the way the place it was not what I even said to my mother more than one time. Mom, I asked her whether if it's the Christmas breeze later or something. It was not school because where I am, it's there. So I don't know. But I don't think
you don't think? Keep going.
No. I'm not tying that to WIG.ja.
Too late. Than I say. Cool. This Christmas did have less Christmas breeze, which is why WIG.ja never make no money.
Cool.
Right? You heard it here first.
You think then I was a meteorologist.
Oh Lord.
Starts more work still.
But they did talk about the average wind speed and they did talk about
it was low.
And according to them it was less. I guess you are correct.
So maybe WIG.ja never feel as much breeze too.
One of the nice things I like about WIG.ja is that you can tell a lot about how, like you're saying, it's hard to move in terms of why technology.
The volumes. I think they need dedicated bios.
Because there's just so much out there. Great forward look in my mind towards Jamaica, which is also going to have a heavy holding.
Look on WIG.ja's top 10.
Why? why would I look on Wixon's top 10? I think if I have it right.
It ties into what I want to say, Mayberry and VM. Well, it ties into what I just said about. I think they need dedicated for the liquidity to not look at this. Then they need people that will hold heavy amounts and limit what is out there in the public. Everything is out there in the public.
Cool, I like it.
No, I'm not saying it's wrong. I mean, in terms of how to move something like this at this point, because of the nature of trading right now. Yeah. Too much people holding it, then
well, not
it's
too
hard
many people holding it. It's just
a lot of people holding it. It's hard to move it up.
Unless sentiment.
Yes, definitely.
We've seen sentiment spike it. That was one of the most beautiful spikes in my mind because that allowed me to see what a mass of people look like news, and it show you what the time in between. Some of the little idiot methods that I have. WIG.ja allowed me to test and see them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, WIG.ja is interesting to me. I will continue to watch and like WIG.ja. But they did say that they used the time to work on the time when the wind was a little bit down to work on the, what do they call it? Servicing the turbines. Yeah, and I think two big things I'm looking forward to is one, how the debt payment that's coming up.
Oh yes, but please go on the balance sheet. I need to explain something.
Go ahead, sir.
So I see people complaining about the thing there, the growth.
Upcoming payment, the liability.
Yeah, so the growth in the liability payment. So, and I think I have a misunderstanding.
You can start from the balance sheet. I'll leave this one for you.
They had a large current portion of long-term liabilities. So the change in current portion of long-term liabilities over the period is great. 716 million. So basically, last year they had 40 million as the current portion of long-term liabilities, which would likely be the one not due yet, but there might be a principal payment.
Not might be. There is a payment that's due this year.
At the time, in the 14 million time, last year, the one was not due yet.
Correct.
And that current portion of long-term liabilities was just a principal payment that they had due. Now, it's jumped to 700 and something.
Which is the amount of the first.
Which is really just,
the first
this
tranche.
bond due. So,
which is how it's paid.
Paid, yeah. So they pay off that part of it.
I don't understand. What is there to
I
say?
think people don't understand how bonds work. Bonds are, you borrow the money, I borrow out the money at once, and I pay the interest. I pay small payments for a set period of time, and then I pay back all the money when the bond mature.
Okay.
So what just happened? The bond is about to mature within X period of time, a short period of time. Air quoting. Short period is usually 1 year for short term in accounting.
Is not usually. It is actually 12 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
so
nice.
It is no.
So within the next 12 months, the payment, the full bond, the bond payment, the principal is to be paid. That's all. So the bond due.
Which is why it moved over into the short-term liabilities.
Yeah. So all right. So one issue when that happens, people complain and I say, "Boy, look how much cash WIG.ja have."
I don't know how much cash do they have.
It's right there, sir. Why are you scrolling away from the balance sheet?
I said, right. I hate it. I was looking for the P&L.
Cash and cash deposits. They have 2 billion in cash, and have to pay back 730 million. I think they'll be fine.
I mean, we know they'll be fine.
No.
It's
you say it nice. I think they'll be fine. Somebody asked me, "Boy, what happened to the EPS?" I asked him a question. He's like, he's new to it.
That's good.
I'm not giving him the blight because he has just completed a reading financial statements course.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm not giving him that blight. So
okay.
I asked him, how are bond payments accounted for? Him saying we'll find out. He has not responded yet. So I'm going to see this. I'm saying no, bond payments do not go through the
P&L.
The P&L.
Yeah.
So P&L is recording of value. So if you have something and you sell it for more than you bought it for, then you made profit on it. So you get revenue. If you have something and you sell it for less than you bought it for, then you made a loss on it. And you record that as an expense of some sort. If you have a bond is on the balance sheet as a liability. If you pay back that liability in full, then really, I have this amount of money for this person and I give him back. I didn't make a loss or a gain on that money, on the return of the asset, then you're good. It won't touch the P&L unless if Randy has a bond out in the public and everybody earns Randy some money, and Randy, the public decides like, oh, it's a $1 million bond, but we'll make Randy redeem it at 80 million, at 8 million. Not 8 million, at 800,000. Then Randy would have made a gain on it. Otherwise, no. So it will not affect the EPS, the payment.
Yeah. And if you want to just have a very clear idea of what's happening with the payments, Note 6 makes it very, very clear.
Yeah, you guys nice.
I have to be very nice. The second any bass enters my voice, I hear that my tone is off. So,
so Randy, watch your tone.
Yeah. 710 million is now due December 14th, 2020. That's this year, which is why it is now part of the current portion. And in December 14, 2023, the same thing is going to happen. And 2025, it's going to happen. And 2028, it's going to happen. Unless they get a new loan and refinance this loan. All right? There's interest on it, but the idea is that there's a current portion that's coming up.
It's the portion due in the next 12 months.
Which is, you can see, there is less current portion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not an accountant, so maybe I've gotten it wrong, but it looks pretty clear to me. Nothing to be scared about. And if you want to be scared, understanding that you need to plan for when you're going to be scared, and you have, 3 or 4 more times to be scared, because they've made it very clear to you that if you're scared now, get scared again in 2023 and 2025 and 2028. Well, if you can scare me on schedule, I won't be scared. Yeah. And if we react the same way every time, then maybe you can start expecting certain reactions in the share price. Who knows? That's my blind guess. Speak to your licensed financial advisor for better ideas on that.
But yeah, you realize how much of the company is held by the top 10.
Wow.
Victoria
Victoria Mutual Building Society owns 9.26%. They're not allowed to own more than 10. Did they tell the public this? They're required to tell the public.
They're required to, when they acquire more than 7%.
They're required to make a notice and tell.
Not 7, I think 7 or 8%. They're required to tell.
It's 8%.
They have to notify WIG.ja that they've made
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't tell the public anything. There was an article in the paper.
Isn't it? No, man. I think there's more disclosures than that, and it doesn't WIG.ja then have a responsibility to. Isn't it a material change in ownership, based on the fact that there is a restriction? So if that is one of the points at which there has to be like a flag that, hey, we're getting higher ownership, wouldn't WIG.ja then have the responsibility to say? I'm assuming here on JC's website that.
I don't know about that.
That's me guessing. Who knows? I probably talk too much. The idea is they're at 9.26.
There was a news article that notified me that it was either came out in our previous report that they had taken out some shares, but in a news article, there was a mention of that they had gone to 10%, had to sell, something about selling down because they had, through the group, they had some more than 10%, something like that.
I understand. Oh, we should find that news article. We should find it. We'll see it in the show notes. Or if you listen to this, you can look it up very quickly on Google. We'll wait.
Yeah.
Hit pause. Mayberry Jamaica Equities Limited, MJE owns 6.7%. NIF owns 6.4%. ATL's pension fund
3.3.
owns 3.3. These sound like small numbers, but they're not.
They're not.
Major.
It's a large amount of.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Jeffrey Ford owns 1.3%. That I don't know if that's a company name or a person's name. If it's a person's name, big up you. 1.3%. That's talk. And that person is not on the board. So wow. We see the board here. They have the full telling of what is that they have, how many shares they have. Sagicor is at number 10. JPS's, what's that? JPS's pension fund seems to be at 9.
I really hope you're going to run through the whole thing.
It's too late. I have to do it now, right? Because the people between 6 and 7 are going to feel bad.
I mean, just hold the report.
You are correct. One more company, we call it tonight because we've been talking for too long. Pick a company that you want to talk to the people about, and I'll pick one too.
I'm fine. You take one more company, sir?
I will take one more company. I will speak about Panjam raising money.
Yeah.
The APO, the new fish fry.
So yeah, they're coming with the APO.
Yeah, they're coming with an APO. Or rights issue, they said. Or stock split, or both.
APO and our stock split, I think they said. Yeah.
Panjam can deal with a stock split. Yes, Panjam is like at $100.
100. Yeah. It's funny they split already, and back up to 100 now.
Split it again, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember I bought some Panjam at 88 or something like that, 70 something. I remember talking to Ryan. I've said it on a previous episode. I said to Ryan saying, nothing but up from here.
Mm-hmm.
As long before it hits 100, now it hits 100. And if it split again, who knows? Maybe I'll ride it all the way back up to 100 again. Panjam. We should do a deep dive on that someday, or somebody else can do it and we'll have them on and they talk about it.
Yeah, man. But yeah, they're raising money. Speculation for me, because last year they spoke about raising debt to fund the completion of the hotels, because they have a hotel downtown, ROK Hotel I think it's called, and this building is being built. It was in the second phase at the time of the newspaper article in September, and they said they were going to raise some debt this year
in order to finish it and get started.
Yeah, but and they have a place in Mobe that I don't think has started anything yet. Mobe Freeport out there.
Really?
It's a hotel they want to build there. But yeah. So I think instead of that, they just go with equity instead.
Well,
unless something else I just don't know about happening. We shall see.
There's a lot happening.
But this announcement right before results, to me, makes me think results might be good.
Results might be bad.
We shall see.
Yeah, they could be pulling like a jam tea or a blue paw.
No, but results are coming out soon.
Yeah, but jam tea dropped that news before the results. Blue paw also dropped that news before the results. In prep with blue paw.
But I think the APO will have to be coming after results. That's why I think it's good for this one. Or buy into a company.
Yeah, if you have a bad set of results coming, but good news around the shares, people might not be inclined to sell it for cheaper, so it might stop a fall in share price, right? Who knows? And then if you have a actual rights issue, even cheap.
APO.
APO.
I feel like it's good results, bro. I have a feeling.
Well, you know me, I'm conservative. Believe it or not.
What was actually stopping me when I checked their last earnings report, they grew over last quarter, but over last period, the same period last year, but it wasn't that there was any one thing that was jumping to say, like this one business line is holding strongly and pushing it forward. So maybe something happened. I'll have to look at Sagicor, JMB, and then try it. Nice.
Because they own a strong, they own like 5%?
They own JMB and they track it via trading of the shares.
Oh, word, the share price. That's brave of them. And so that means that they expect that share price to go up.
And
telling.
They also have some Sagicor shares and they book share of profit in associate from Sagicor. So good results from Sagicor and JMB would say to me that,
and good results from Sagicor impact JMB, and good results in JMB impact them. The wheel eats itself. All right, guys, I think you've had enough from us, and we're I think at the limit of the things that we want to say but can't. And we've also had a long enough episode. This isn't as long as our usual episodes, but who knows? Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like it. I'm Randy at RT Raw.
And I'm Dan at HNI.
This has been earnings season.
All right. Bless up, guys.
Everybody's going for money now.
Earnings season, bro.